Hey everyone, hey you nerds. Welcome to a new episode of Nerd Variety Podcast.
Hi.
Yay.
Yes. Hey, I'm Josh, and I'm joined today by Hannah the Huntress Hogan.
Ooh, I like this one.
Yeah.
So that's just okay.
Yeah,
that just
we're
goes
also joined by Hunter the Rhino Rafferty.
Wait, so literally,
No
are you
questions,
saying
move
like
on.
the hunter has become the hunted?
Well, I guess are you?
I mean, I don't know. Miss Huntress, do you hunt rhinos? Apparently.
Maybe.
Okay, then I might.
No comment.
You don't know her life.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yes. Welcome to a special episode about cosplay today. And we are joined today by our special guest. He is an actor, impressionist, and an avid cosplayer, Travaris Mysterious Moorman.
Woo! What's up, guys? And I like that mysteriousness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that.
Travaris and I met last year's Atlanta Comic Con. It was a great con. I hate that they couldn't have it this year.
Right.
Was it a long con? Were you playing the long con?
No.
No.
It was a short but sweet con.
Okay.
Yeah. We met some legends in entertainment, and we saw some great cosplays, right, Travaris?
Oh man, it was awesome, man. Yeah, all around. Yeah.
So
that was Comic Con. That wasn't Dragon Con.
It was you had to be there, Hunter. It was really there were some impressive ones. I have some pictures.
You had to be a Dragon Con, so
I know. I do want to go to Dragon Con. Hannah, what was that?
I've been to MomoCon.
That's the one nobody cares about.
Hey,
I'm learning, okay.
I was this close to going to MomoCon, but then the Rona happened.
Right.
It was fun. I enjoyed it last year.
You enjoyed the Rona?
No, not so much.
Oh.
Yeah,
we have not enjoyed the Rona. We have not.
I mean, yes. I think last time I had some was when you brought some to a party or something, Josh.
Probably.
I have higher standards in my beer. Thank you very much.
I mean, I do too, but it was just there.
Over here. Anyway, we're talking about cosplay today. That thing we like to do around Halloween and at conventions. I'm sure we have an idea of where cosplay got its start. Anyone?
People dressing up.
Very good, Hunter. Very good.
Yay, well done.
See, I know things. This is why I excel at trivia.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. I want to say it was all the way back in Roman times, right? They used to have a day. The word itself, isn't it Greek?
Well, they had masquerade parties.
Right. Well, I know that much. I believe, it's something. It goes all the way back from like those days.
Yeah, you're on the right track there. They used to do those mask parties there in those fancy Roman parties, and that probably carried on into the 15th century masquerade balls, Hunter.
Right.
And then that kind of carried on until like Halloween became pretty prevalent. People wore dressed as ghosts and witches and vampires and all those classic horror monsters. Yeah.
My research says Japan.
Ooh, I can see that.
Yeah, but we have a Googler here, so
yeah. I like to Google things.
What does it say about Japan, Hannah?
Well, so there's so I've studied a few years of Korean, so I know a little bit about some of these languages, not much. And there's a very common thing where they sort of take some English words and borrow them and smash them together and things like that. So this says that it's just sort of a combination of costume and play, and they smashed it together and said cosplay. That's
Hannah,
what I'm seeing.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that watching K-drama doesn't count as research.
I took 2 years of Korean in college. Thank you very much.
She knows her stuff.
I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I'm just saying I'm well aware that the Korean word for cell phone is handphone. Literally handphone.
That's complicated.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you figured that one out
English
eventually.
words and just sort of reuse them or make combinations out of them. Yeah.
as I was saying, it became something we began doing at conventions. Do we know when the first like big modern convention was? Without Googling it?
1982.
I'm
No.
just gonna look at the internet.
Don't.
1983.
Got the answer. Just,
Could it be when Marvel Comics first started going around? Because I know Stan Lee had they had a lot of conventions pop up during the 70s, and they would go to the first New York Comic Cons and things of that nature. Yeah.
okay. I can definitely see it getting a big, increase because of all the Marvel characters that were introduced and people really taking a liking to them and I can dress up like the Hulk, paint myself green, or wear it be a Thor or Iron Man, just wear that basic classic Iron Man suit.
Right.
But it got its first
1984.
No.
1985.
No. 1939.
I was actually going to say
I knew
1939 because of
I looked it
Superman and Batman.
Yeah. The first World Science Fiction Convention. It was on 4th of July.
I knew that, but you told me I couldn't tell you because I looked it up.
Hannah, you're a cheater.
Well,
I didn't mean to.
I kind of like people to, guess. It's nice.
Does Patrick know you're a cheater?
Probably.
Whoa. Anyway, so we've been enjoying cosplay and it's evolved since then. But Travaris, I wanted to ask you, how did you get your start? You've been sharing a lot of different cosplays you've done, but how did you get started in it?
Well, I've been cosplaying for about 17 years now, since like 2003. My start, I've always been like very eccentric and wanting to dress up, and like I would literally be the weird guy to just come in a costume at school. Like, even before I knew what the word cosplay meant, I was already doing costuming and things of that nature, and just would go and dress up for different events and for Decade Day in high school and all this stuff. And I'll be like the kid that's like, hey mom, can I wear like this Donald Duck costume to school? She's like, no, what are you talking about?
Donald Duck just means you don't wear pants or anything.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be.
That's not school appropriate.
But as long as you wear pants, you just wear the whole sailor's outfit, not whatever he's doing.
But yeah, that's pretty much where I got my start. My first convention was 2003 at Anime Weekend Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
And ever since then, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. I'm very, I'm into all the arts. I sing, draw, dance. I went to college. I graduated from high school in 2003, and then I also went to college the same summer at the Art Institute of Atlanta. And I have a degree in 2D animation. So it was like, when I went to conventions, it was like, oh my God, like everything that
You found your people.
Right, I found my people. I'm home.
Yeah. It is nice. It is nice going to the cons that the few that I've been to. Is just like, oh, these are my the fanboys and girls and everywhere in between. They're all here. We're all hanging out, enjoying the weekend, and just being able to we can speak our language. It's nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hunter, have you? I know you said you did some cosplays for Dragon Con last year.
Yeah, so I've only gone to Dragon Con twice. So last year and the year before, and I dressed up both times. My first one, I actually made a costume, which was my first time doing that. It wasn't very good. It kept falling apart the entire time, and it was ridiculous. But it was the PlayStation 4 version of God of War, of Kratos, from that. So I was doing the whole thing. I shaved my head. I grew out the big beard for it. I didn't get the muscles. That was just a bit too far for me. I still have the axe. It's actually right over here in my room. It's cool. But yeah, it was a first attempt at a lot of it, and it was not good. And I bought like flip-flops to wear, and I learned walking through Atlanta for a long time, and flip-flops is a bad idea. Yeah. So then last year, I decided to do some Spider-Man. I decided to do Spider-Verse stuff. So I had, I think I brought three different ones. So I was a little, well, not cheap, kind of technically, I guess the opposite of cheap for that. I actually just bought costumes, you know. So I bought the Miles Morales one from, I think it's specifically the version from Into the Spider-Verse, because it has a bit of a different design than the one from the comics. So that one was cool. And then for that, I also bought like, you know, like a red hoodie and then like a jacket to try to emulate what he wore in that film when, you know, you know what
we've all seen Into the Spider-Verse, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
It was all that, and then I think I may have worn that costume technically twice, because I think one day I wore it with the jacket and everything over it, and then another day I went without that on. Yeah, and then I had the I can't remember exactly what they call it, like the white one that has the new design for the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Nice.
There's another one that I brought, but I ended up not wearing it.
Nice.
Travaris,
what are your you got your? I've seen a few of yours on your Instagram. So give me your top 5 that you go for, or if you have, I'm not sure how many you have in your reservoir.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of them, man. But I think the top 5 that I most enjoy, obviously Powerline, you know, Powerline from the Goofy movie, King Joffrey Joker, obviously. Spike from X-Men Evolution. I like to do cosplays that kind of like nostalgic cosplays that take people back and rarely see. You know what I mean? Like I was one of the first people in ATL to actually cosplay Powerline. This is way back in like the original MomoCon and things like that. And but you know, I like to do characters that you rarely see and everything. A Power Rangers Ninjetti, you know, I did one of the first people to do that. I got some things in store as far as like my own Ninja Turtle costume, like Michelangelo.
Sweet.
Yeah. So nostalgic cosplays.
Yeah, and that's one of the best cosplays, because you know, some people may not get it, but you'll have at least a few people coming up to you and being like, "Oh my God, this cosplay is awesome! You know,
Right.
how'd you do this? This is so cool." It's that getting that reaction. That reaction is priceless.
Right. And no matter if like long as that one person, like that's what I'm aiming for, you know, because it just makes their day. It makes you like, yo, wasn't expecting to see that, you know, here or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Hannah, what are we doing? We haven't. I don't think you or I have done any.
Yeah, I was
cosplays.
gonna say, I think the closest I've gotten to cosplay is we celebrated Hobbit Day at our house last weekend. We had 7 meals and we went on a hike and watched we played a Lord of the Rings drinking game. It was great.
I wasn't invited.
No, COVID. We already have 8 people who live here.
I thought it was last year.
So we do it every year,
both.
silly. Holidays happen every year.
Hobbit Day.
It's already been Hobbit Day. Sorry.
Yeah. It's So we celebrated a little bit late this year, but we try and do some dressing up. But it was like just kind of all the things that I could find in my closet. And I do have a couple like really cool costume pieces. So I've got a beautiful like pirate sword that I love, and a dagger and like little things, but I don't really have like a full costume yet. And so kind of my biggest question that I don't know if we want to answer it now or later was like, sure. I don't know how to start cosplay with no money and no talent and no skills.
That's why I only did it one time.
I'm like,
so far,
because I see all these like videos on YouTube of people making their own pieces. I'm like, that is insane and crazy and like really like next level stuff. And I would love to be able to do that, but I don't have the money, the space, the time, the skill, like
and
anything
all the other
like
stuff
that.
it takes.
Right.
To
the creativity. I'm like, I don't know.
Right. As far as I've gone, as far as making, I can get a prop together with some good planning. But like I made a Saruman stuff. I think it's fallen apart by now. But I made a Saruman stuff for the second Hobbit movie when it came out, and I just felt really cool walking into the theater with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. But as far as do you have any hints, suggestions, tips for getting your start in cosplay?
Well, first of all, like anybody could do it. Like it doesn't matter. Like you can start no money, with money. Like I would start off at Goodwills and thrift stores. First of all, just map out your whole costume, and then you kind of piece by piece get what you need to and to get the items, and start going to thrift stores, like cheap thrift stores, and just start getting pieces and like, wait a minute, those are the boots, or those are that's the belt, and things like that, and just start kind of piecing it together. And then of course they have YouTube tutorials on like how to build your armor and how to craft certain things. But just really start small. Like once you get the basics and get your basic, it starts just coming together. Sometimes we look at the whole entirety of it and not realizing that it had a foundation at first. And you're like, wait a minute, that was just a black underneath. You know what I mean?
And I get that to some extent because I've been working more on like a Renfest costume than anything. I've got a pirate costume going, and it's been sort of like we threw together a pirate costume with what's in my closet, and slowly we're like, well, I bought a sword and I bought a skirt and I bought a pair of boots, but it's been like one thing every year for the past 5 years, and that's been all I can afford basically. But I get the idea of sort of like starting small and building up from there.
Yeah.
Right.
And getting a solid plan together.
I just also don't like shopping. So it's just like, I'm cursed.
Yeah. Treat it like a mission in a video game, Hannah.
Yeah,
you gotta collect all the items to get to the end.
I agree.
You don't have all the items. You don't get the pack. You don't go to the next level.
I need to bring my sister with me. Is what I need to do. But
yeah. There you go.
And both of those things. Sorry, I was trying to scramble to look for it because I'd totally forgotten. But I actually did. I was convinced. I think like last year, just after Dragon Con, I was convinced that I was really gonna put in the work and the time to make a good cosplay. I have a book, like a pretty good guide on doing cosplay stuff, and I have not like done anything with it. I've looked at it, but not really. So
unfortunately you probably won't be able to use it till next year.
Yeah.
So that's fortunate because I procrastinate anyways.
But yeah. So questions. Is there a difficult cosplay that you've wanted to do, Travaris?
Oh man, there's many. I'm getting into more building, of course, and using styrofoam and just different types of foam and warbler, which is like this kind of plastic that you can actually melt with a heating gun and kind of create. A lot of people use warbler on their armor and everything, and you build it from there. But really just like costumes with armor and stuff like that. Anything that has this armor, like you mentioned God of War and built like Latin armor and stuff like that. Like some people build Gundams and all kind of cool stuff. Like what I mean, like Monster Hunter, like people, just crazy stuff. As far as like armor, and that's what I want to kind of get more into.
Yeah, I've seen some Monster Hunter cosplays at Dragon Con. Those things get ridiculous.
Oh my god! Like,
so in your experience, when you have like those really intricate costumes, do you have to like make everything by hand?
No. You can actually piece it together. Like you can buy, like even your favorite cosplayers, they still buy their stuff. Like don't they're not making everything. So don't like they can still, you can still buy it.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying you're gonna like sew a shirt,
right?
Just a T-shirt, but like, I'm sure they do sometimes. But.
Yeah, sometimes you can do that as well. But they can you'll just find something. You might find an item that is that, and you can like, hey, I need to buy that, just like how it is or whatever. And it's fine as long as you can bring the character to life and you have fun. That's the main thing about it, just having fun. Like that's all that matters, actually. You know.
Yeah. Well, there's one that I tried to do back in. It was for Walker Stalker Con. I think it was the year was 2017, and I wanted to be.
Right? That's in October, right?
Yeah. Basically the Halloween one. It's kind of like a Halloween con, but it was mainly for Walking Dead.
Right.
And I was trying to be the alien victim, an alien victim, like, and make it actually like get a. Okay, I had a chest burster coming out of me, and it was like, and I had I bought a remote control arm, and I just kind of pieced it together. I got the arm fixed, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to where it could attach. I could attach to myself and then still control it, and then make it look like a chest burster was coming out of me.
Right.
Yeah, and there was something I was really close to getting done, but I just couldn't get it in time for the con. But another one, like when you mentioned armor, I want to. I don't know when I will be able to, but one day I want to be able to do a Halo via a Spartan for a convention.
That was one of mine too, man. I think that's like everybody's original when you talk about armor. It's like you got to just knock out Halo to get out the way.
Halo and Stormtroopers are like the two I feel like immediate go-tos. Like I want to do this, and because it's it's the heavy identifiable armor thing.
Yeah, Iron Man. God, I've seen some. I don't know how I guess people have just been watching the movies like nonstop, but I guess when watching them, they'd be able to see, okay, I can make something similar to that by doing this and this, because they've had to make it look like real armor for the movie. So it's probably it's been 10 years, people aren't that far away from making something that can pass for a movie prop.
Right. And when you're talking about mechanics and robotics and getting to wireframe and all that jazz, that's what I want to like move into as well, like the LED stuff and putting lights and making the switches and everything. And and like how you were saying about the Iron Man, like these guys are fully functional and everything, and it's crazy.
Yeah, you can actually buy them too.
I've seen footage of someone made like a full-blown Dalek costume that you can like get into and pull the lid down and like zip around and like control all the little limbs and stuff, and there's like a voice modulator in it and everything. It was so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's like next level. I can't even imagine.
Is that your dream, Hannah?
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be awesome.
Well, I've seen, I don't remember what year it was, but at Dragon Con, I saw someone who was like this, I think it was like a big mech suit, basically, that they had, and it was like water cooled. Like they had a whole system that they designed to keep it cooled.
Yeah.
Liquid cooling and everything. It was like,
was it a
what?
Yeah, I've seen Hulkbusters, and
I don't think it was a Marvel thing.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it to see if I have a picture of it on my phone. It's very possible, but I'll probably yell and interrupt whoever's talking as soon as I find that. So just go ahead.
So I think we mentioned like the armor stuff, but the most impressive one that you've seen, was that what you were talking about, Travaris?
Yeah, I mean, mostly they all, like, everybody who cosplays, I'm impressed by everybody. Because you got some people that can sew very well. You got some people that can craft very well. They're good on engineer. They might be good on painting. The paint job might be really awesome. I'm really blown away just by everybody's creativity when it comes into cosplay.
Yeah.
Like, but armor, when you're talking about armor and mechanics and robotics and stuff like that, that's like really high. That's up there. So it's like I'm really impressed by that. Like mostly. Yeah.
So I think, here, I'm going to show you guys. I think it was that one. I don't know how well you can see it. It's like, I think it's Junkrat from Overwatch in there. It's a little blurry. I don't know if I need to move it closer or
it's very big.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, when you're creating something, does what you imagine, is it ever different from what you end up with?
Always.
Always.
It's like when you, like, as an artist, when you're drawing a picture or anything, or like if you write something, you're like, this is not what I had in my mind, but it's still pretty awesome. Like I'm like where I'm going with this kind of deal.
Yeah. When you kind of start riffing or just kind of like freestyling on like what on your drawing, or you just like, you had an idea for a piece or a prop, and then you're like, oh no, let's try it with this. Ooh, that looks really good. This actually works a lot better than what I originally thought.
Mm-hmm.
See, my brain doesn't work like that because I'm like not artistic or creative, like hardly at all. So that is not something I'm familiar with.
You need to be more nerdy.
I'm nerdy. I'm just nerdy. I'm just like, my math is very like scientific and analytical. I'm like, I mean, sometimes I do unexpected things like on a physics problem, but that's the best I got. I'm like, oh, that's not how I intended to do that, but okay. But like, that's the most I can relate. So do you think that like it changes because like things aren't working out the way you expected them to, or like you can't get a hold of the right things, or it's just because your brain is perfect?
I would say all the above there. Like sometimes like the funds are looking pretty low. You might like, I would really kill if I had this certain thing or whatever. Or sometimes you got to kind of budget and cut back on it and get something else. It's like you're still like, it could have been that much better, but overall, try not to get too down on it. You know what I mean, and just stay positive, because at the end of the day, my main goal was to inspire and just have fun. So.
Well, I think sometimes the like not super high quality, like homemade sort of aspect to things is really, really charming in cosplay, where you're like, oh, I can tell that you made that, but that's really cool. Right, rather than being like this sort of store-bought perfectional sort of thing.
Exactly. I remember I had a friend named Emil. This guy, he was just naturally good at cosplay. Like, I'm serious. Like, and this is like all the way back in the day, right? And one day I asked him, I was like, hey, you're cosplaying? And we're at a con. And he's like, nah, I'm not gonna cosplay. He came back the next day, like with a full-blown Mega Man costume. I'm talking about like out of Coke bottles and stuff. Like it was amazing.
All right.
Like, he was like, yeah, I just did it last night. And I mean, it's like nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I just on a whim.
Yeah,
I just threw it together. It was nothing. It took like 2 hours. It's fine.
It's nothing. Just do it together. I was like, oh my god. Like he actually ended up winning the costume contest.
Isn't that just annoying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People get all the talent.
How dare you? Right. Yeah. So let's look at the kind of there's some highs with cosplay. There's also some lows. I guess especially looking at some of the cons taking place in Atlanta in the summer, it's hot. You got a lot of walking to do.
Oh yeah.
How do you manage how do you stick to what you started with?
I'm the main person that dies. Like, very hot natured.
Yeah.
Like, I give my friends 7 Dragon Balls, and hopefully they wish me back to life after it's all done. But it's like, no, like my costumes always, like I'm always sweating anyway. Walking around convention, I'm very active.
Beauty is pain.
I'm in pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
art is pain. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like, so it's
existence
like,
is pain.
No, like I'm always like I'm always like dying. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna die anyways, I might as well just die looking cool.
Have fun with it.
Yeah,
have fun.
Yeah, just try to make the brief moments where you have to leave the convention hall or outside of their industrial AC, just make them as brief as possible. Or just stay focused on getting back into that AC.
And if you're a particularly sweaty person, maybe try and avoid face paint.
Oh yeah, that's but honestly, if you're lucky enough, I have not in my 2 years at Dragon Con, but if you're lucky enough and have the means, at least for Dragon Con, I'm not entirely sure about other cons, but the best thing you can do is get a hotel room for the weekend. That way you have a good place to just go to if you need to do something. I've never been so lucky. I've either had to take the train, I've had to take MARTA, or one year, a friend that lived in Atlanta was nice enough to, well, they had a hotel. They were nice enough to let me stay at their place for that time, but it was still a bit of a walk.
Yeah.
Right. You're exactly right about that. I mean, you're best off with the hotel every time. Even like some conventions I like stay near, but it's still like, even though I stay like only like 5 minutes away, it's like being at the con in the hotel, it still makes a whole lot of difference, you know, than actually walking, especially if you're in costume.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Atlanta.
In
the summertime.
Yes.
In the summertime.
Well, and just
through the crowd.
Especially if you want to stay late, like there were things that I really wanted to do later in the nights, but in the evenings, but it's like I really don't want to walk through it all of like a lot of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Midtown, some of downtown.
Yeah. I didn't realize until I went to MomoCon how late some of the events go. And I went, we did not stay in a hotel. We literally just drove down, and it was literally just me and my 13-year-old cousin. And so I was like, well, we're not doing anything late at night. Like, your mom wants you home by 8 or whatever. But like, I didn't realize how late people stay up partying, basically.
No, in DragonCon, I can't remember. I don't know if there's ever like a significant stretch of time that doesn't have anything happening. Like, there are things at like 1, 2 a.m. and stuff. And it's like, I ain't doing that unless I have a hotel room or something.
Right. DragonCon literally never sleeps at all.
No. Yeah. And by then, most people's costumes are being they have like duct tape and like pins, and so they're just trying to hold things together. While still trying to have a good time.
Right. So when you go to a con that's like a multiple day thing, do you try and have a costume for every individual day, or do you just have one for the whole week or weekend?
You know, if I'm like really trying to showcase, I usually try to do just 2. Like usually Friday and a Saturday or something like that, and then the other days I just kind of want to walk around free. But if I'm really trying to showcase, like I got a good 3 or 4, then I'll probably like, you know, one each day kind of thing. Yeah. So other than that, like I like to like, you know, like I try not to stay in it the whole day.
Right. Yeah, just kind of have your plan, especially if you're meeting certain celebrities, or if you want to go to certain panels, or if you're actually going to a competition.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't even say I felt like such a jerk going to it was like a filmmakers meeting event that was happening where people were just talking, and I mean, you know, I was in film school. I think I may have actually just graduated, and I was in my really horrible Kratos cosplay, which basically the top has nothing covered. It's like a little thing here, and I just felt like such a jerk sitting in that room.
Inappropriately dressed. Yeah. Well, and I've definitely seen some costumes that, like, I wonder how people sit down in them, and that's not something that you want to be wearing for like 12 hours or whatever. No. Yeah. Like, at some point you need to get off your feet.
Yeah. Have some actual shoes instead of the weird, you know, armored heels that you're wearing.
Instead of
armored heels. Oh God, my poor toes.
Do we have like the worst cosplay you've ever seen? Like anything off the top of your head?
You know, it's really just about taste. Like I'm such a big fan of everybody. Like if you cosplay, it takes a person with just like a lot of heart just to get out there and just get in a costume anyway. So like, I'm just such a big fan of anybody like that cosplays. But with that being said, like, I don't like distasteful cosplay used to hurt people or community or anything like race, gender, whatever. Like, you know, as long as you're very tasteful in that, you know, in that regard, you know, I really haven't seen like I don't like bad cosplays. Like if you got the heart to do it, then I think you're awesome, you know.
So even like just huge dudes and like slave Leia costumes, we're okay with that.
No, man, that's cool. Like
I mean, there's definitely part of me that's like
that's
props, dude.
Some of my friends like they do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I love it, man. They're doing their thing, man.
Braver than I am, for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to be in the parade. All right, go for it. You know, you went this far. Yeah. Yeah. Just some that are. It's just a matter of, especially there are ones that aren't planned out. That they went with an obscure reference, or they just when something or people couldn't recognize it. I think that's another like that can be kind of a downer, especially for the cosplayer.
Right. Like when they don't recognize. I mean, my friend was just talking about that. He dressed up as Black Panther, and kid went up to him and said, "Hey, it's Catman," and he just like he was down the entire for some reason.
Aww.
That just crushed his life.
That's adorable, though.
Yeah, it's all right. It's just a kid, It's like. But I mean, even if it's like a person that just doesn't recognize, you just correct them, and it's not that big of a deal,
Yeah.
I mean, but some of my favorite ones that I've seen are probably ones that at least look like they didn't take much effort. Like one that I don't know why, but I just loved. It was 3 people all dressed as Tommy Wiseau, and I thought it was wonderful.
God. No.
Why?
Oh
my gosh.
I loved it.
Why?
They all looked really good as well for Tommy Wiseau. Like they looked very accurate.
Oh my goodness.
No, make it stop. Yeah.
It was fun.
So this year at conventions I've had to go online. I guess that still leaves room for people to cosplay. Hunter, I know you and I watched DC Fandom. We saw some snippets of people's cosplay for different characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a strange thing. People are still trying. I like to see that.
Right.
But,
it's always good.
Yeah.
Trying is good, which is unfortunately, even when I try, it's not very good. Although even when I didn't try, again, I bought like my Spider-Man stuff. Most of them are good, except one of them, actually 2 of them had really awful masks. The masks just did not look good. And luckily my Miles Morales one had a good mask.
But yeah. So hopefully, this year, will end soon, and next year, some things will change to allow us to get back in the world and maybe start looking at cons again. I'll be excited. I was excited for one this year, but next year, if it's safe, we'll enjoy hanging out with each other at cons and enjoying some good cosplays in person.
And if we have for a lot of things this year,
and if we have more cosplays that incorporate masks, then that's just coincidence.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I can see a lot of Bane showing up at
ninjas.
I will for sure be going as Scorpion if that works out.
Yep. Good call.
Perfect.
Well, thank you all for joining us for this week's and where can people see more of you, find you on the interwebs?
Well, you can look me up on Facebook and Instagram at Standout Cosplay. You can check out, I'm doing martial arts on there. I'm doing voice acting. I'm doing cosplay, of course, and just some other cool stuff, some dancing, some singing.
Sweet.
Man of many talents.
Yes, he is.
Definitely.
All right. So next week's episode, what do we have in store for the listeners?
Well, we have in store what we said was in store last week.
Oh yeah,
this week,
right?
Because we kind of fumbled on that, and things got changed around. So actually, next week will be historical fiction is going to be a focus. So. And I think we have yet to really narrow down what exactly that means, but we will get there. I had an idea when I came up with the topic, but I have since forgotten it as happens.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Write it down, Hunter.
Or wing it. Either one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Hannah, for being realistic here. We'll wing it like we do everything.
Cool.
And it always turns out fantastic, right?
Yeah, it's fine. It's great.
It's great. It's wonderful.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you soon. But until then, nerd out.
Goodbye.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.